Ani and good day. My name is Adele Loosemore and I'm a Treaty Indian from Shebahonaning. The 1901 Canadian Census is the historical document that the Métis Nation of Ontario most often uses to claim that ancestors were Métis. But the 1901 census didn't identify people as Métis. Let's take a look at how the Canadian government described the categories in the census and how people were to be classified. A note about the 1901 census of Killarney. For that census, our village was included in the district of Nipissing. I put a red dot on the map to show where Killarney is. This map is not part of the census data. It's an 1895 map of the electoral district of Nipissing, but it still shows you an outline of the district. In other census years, Killarney is included in the district of Algoma. As Minister of Agriculture for the federal government, one of Sidney Fisher's responsibilities was overseeing the 1901 census. His department issued a manual for its chief officers, commissioners, and enumerators, explaining how to classify people into the categories that were included in the census. Two of those categories were race or color and racial or tribal origin. For race or color, the races of men will be designated by the use of W for white, R for red, B for black, and Y for yellow. The whites are, of course, the Caucasian race, the reds are the American Indian, the blacks are the African or Negro, and the yellows are the Mongolian, Japanese, and Chinese. But only pure whites will be classed as whites. The children begotten of marriages between whites and any one of the other races will be classed as red, black, or yellow, as the case may be, irrespective of the degree of color. It's very clear that under this instruction, people of mixed red and white races were to be classed as red, which stands for American Indian. For the category on racial or tribal origin, the 1901 census instructions said that in the case of Indians, the names of their tribes should be given, as Chippewa, Cree, etc. Persons of mixed white and red blood, commonly known as breeds, will be described by addition of the initial letters FB for French breed, EB for English breed, SB for Scotch breed, and IB for Irish breed. For example, Cree FB denotes that the person is racially a mixture of Cree and French, and Chippewa SB notes that the person is Chippewa and Scotch. Other mixtures of Indians besides the four above specified are rare and may be described by the letters OB for other breed. Under this category of the census, people of mixed red and white blood were described as mixtures of Indians. MNO uses these same census categories to classify persons as Métis. In its 2019 registry policy, MNO says, being Métis is to be part of a proud and old culture and Aboriginal society. If an individual identifies as an Indian, whether status, non-status, treaty, or non-treaty, one is identifying as a different Aboriginal people, not as Métis. MNO tells applicants that they must be descended from a Métis ancestor, not an Indian one. But many verified Métis ancestors in MNO's database are in that database because they are recorded in the 1901 census as persons of mixed Indian-European ancestry. They're called verified Métis only because MNO declared them to be Métis. In the 1901 census, the Canadian government categorized all persons of mixed Indian and European ancestry as Indians. That doesn't mean that there were no Métis people in Canada at the time. I don't think it's surprising that the federal government did not acknowledge them. But when it comes to the 1901 census, the Métis Nation of Ontario cannot claim that persons who were categorized as one of the breeds have automatically been identified as Métis.